guys, welcome back. I'm so glad that you're here today. I hope you're excited to hang out because I'm sharing a spring home tour for 2025. And I'm excited because this is our first spring home tour in the new house. And it's been a fun year first being in this home, and I'm excited to have these videos to look back on to see what changes, what projects we tackle, and what we add. That's one of the beautiful things about documenting on YouTube. But in today's video, I'm going to be sharing just kind of a culmination of all the decorating I've been doing the last couple of weeks. I shared a spring decorating video not too long ago. I shared our back porch space and making that all over, so if you want more details on our back porch, definitely go check that out. But today we're going to keep things casual. I'm just going to turn the camera around and show you what it all sort of looks like put together and how I have it decorated for the season. I hope you're excited for today's video. I hope that it's an encouragement to you and that it gives you a few ideas for your home. But without further ado, let's take a little tour. Before we go any further, I kindly wanted to thank Wild Grain for sponsoring today's video. Wild Grain is the first bake from frozen subscription box for sourdough breads, artisanal pastries, and fresh pastas. And I love getting my Wild Grain box every month. It is so much fun. It's like Christmas. And what I love is that Wild Grain partners with local bakeries and fresh pasta makers to really keep that artisanal tradition and nutritional value alive in sourdough. And that is so important, you guys. Your subscription box is completely customizable. You can make tweaks, you can add things. They're always bringing in new, fresh, seasonal items and limited time offers, so definitely check those out. But you can build a more classic box like I do, or you can have a plant-based or gluten-free box, which is awesome. I personally love the convenience factor. I can just go out to my deep freeze, grab a loaf of sourdough or a pasta or whatever I'm cooking with that night, and it's ready in about 25 minutes. It doesn't get much easier than that. All the sourdough benefits without the hard work, which is what I need in this busy season of life. Unlike store-bought sourdoughs, they use a slow fermentation process, which is easier on your belly and gut and digestion, and it's more nutritionally dense, which who doesn't want that? It's traditional sourdough at its finest. So I figured I'd just show you a couple of goodies from my Wild Grain box this month to give you an idea. I love the fresh pastas. I've tried the linguine and the spaghetti. This month I got the rigatoni, and it looks delicious. It will be great for pasta night. There's nothing like fresh pasta. These are some of my absolute favorites from Wild Grain, and it's the croissants. And when I tell you, these get enormous in the oven. They are so ooey gooey, especially if you eat them with this churned French butter that I get with my subscription. This butter is divine, and maybe a little honey. So good. I usually like to try a different type of biscuit with my subscription box, and for the spring, kind of a seasonal item, I went with the raspberry lemon biscuits. I thought those sounded delicious to have with breakfast one morning. I think the kids will really like these. So if you're interested in trying a Wild Grain subscription box, now's a great time. You can get $30 off your first box and free croissants for life. Who doesn't want free croissants? I know I do. You can go to wildgrain.com/Amy Fritz in all caps. That'll be linked down in the description below, and use code Amy Fritz in all caps to check out that offer. And thanks again, Wild Grain, for sponsoring today's video. So in full transparency, it's been such a rainy, stormy spring. I just haven't wanted to tackle the front porch yet, but that video is coming in the next couple of weeks, probably the end of April, so that I can swap out all my wintry greens and planters for some annuals and ferns. I cannot wait, but it's a beautiful morning this morning. I did notice all my hydrangeas are starting to leaf out, so that's exciting. As we head inside, kind of flanking my front door area, I have these planters. They're from Lowe's, and I just stuck grapevine wreaths on them, and then I have these evergreen little baby trees from Christmas time. I am planning on popping these out in the yard here pretty soon and planting up these planters with something more appropriate for spring and summer, so I'm excited for that. And then as we come in the front door here, I just wanted to show you really quick this beautiful oversized wreath I picked up at Marshall's this season, and I think it's so beautiful. I love the big white flowers and the eucalyptus on it, and I love that it's oversized. So one of the things I love about the morning light is that it shines right through these double windows in the morning, which is glorious. But then a big part of the sight lines when I was designing this house plan was I wanted to be able to see straight back out to the woods right when you walk through the front door, even though we are off center a bit. And so that's why we did the tall transom there, and I love that. We'll get over there in a little bit, but starting out in my entry table, this space is one of my favorites to just kind of change a few things up for the season. I've got these fun little faux greenery stems. I picked these up at Target, just a classic white and green in an ironstone pitcher. I have this antique duck decoy just kind of sitting there. I think it's appropriate for the spring and summer. And then also a recent change I made, I added some thrifted plates. I think they're all antique based on the back of them. A couple of them are ironstone, but I'm gonna start collecting more and just kind of do a fun little plate display on this wall, I think. We'll see, but I like the texture it brings, the pop of color. I think it's very traditional, but it's fun for the spring and summer. And then as you continue to come in, you have the view of the staircase, like I said, and over here on this wall, I've got a hall tree. I usually kind of change it up, change things up on the hooks. Depending on the season, I added just a sweet little sun hat for spring. I've got a bowl there full of some boxwood orbs from Walmart. Just a fun pop of green. I would like to find a bigger bench, a cooler piece for this wall. I just haven't yet. And so for now I have this little bench with just a sweet little floral pillow and some paintings. Those both came from Target, I believe. And then right off our entry, we have this cute little powder bathroom. One of my favorite spaces in the house, actually. And I didn't do a ton in here. I don't really decorate in here too much because it's a small space. On the vanity, I have just a little striped tea towel. This came from Walmart, just really simple. I've got a spring scented hand soap, and then the only thing I did is I added a little plant on top of the toilet, and I did add this picture up top of some sheep, and I thought that was more spring appropriate. I had a picture of a cow up there before, but I thought the sheep would be cute for springtime. Coming into our great room, I love this space early in the morning because it's pretty cozy. It gets a ton of afternoon light, but in the morning, I feel like the whole house just has this cozy vibe that I love. I shared a lot of this space in my spring decorate with me, but I have made a couple little tweaks and we'll just kind of talk about them. On my mantle and hearth area, I've got some staggered topiaries. Those came from Amazon, as well as the candlesticks. I've had those up since maybe January. I don't know. It's been a while. It's just great everyday decor. Kept it for spring. And then down below, I've got this sweet little grapevine bunny. I got that at the at-home store, and he's just a cute little addition to this space. And then circling around this way, on the sofas, I just have my blue and plaid pillows. I've had these on all year, and I love how simple they are, how they work through the seasons. I've talked about this before, but These blue pillows are from Walmart, and I believe they're still in store. The last time I was there, I saw them. And then the plaid covers are from Amazon. So both really affordable options. And I always get questions about the rug. The rug I got on Wayfair, and I will link that and some of the other frequently asked items down below. But on the coffee table here, I've got this wicker tray just to kind of group everything together. I got that tray at home as well. And I've got this fun little garden cloche just with a wire vine plant underneath. I've got a lemon scented candle that I don't have burning, and then just a book with a little magnifying glass. I picked that up at Target actually after the new year. And then we've got this sitting area, which is my favorite in this space. And for spring, I ended up changing it up and adding these smaller pillows. And at first I thought, oh my gosh, these are way too small. But then when I placed them, there's something about a change in size that adds some interest, I think. Also, it's really nice having these small pillows here. You don't have to move them when you sit down. They're just like a nice cushion for your back. So it's kind of a win-win. But I got the covers on Wayfair. I bought them because I love anything floral black, but then also I thought the blues and the colors and them really tied in with the rug without being too much pattern, because this rug is very patterned. So I think it works really nicely. I love how that turned out. And then in the center here on this little accent table, I have a cake stand from, I want to say, Home Goods. And what I did was I took a nest, a real nest actually, and I just kind of manipulated it. I played around with it. I added some moss to it, and I sort of separated it from the center and stretched it out enough to make it like a little candle ring. And so I've got that same scent that's going in the entry here. Smells so good. And I love how it turned out. It's interesting, it screams springtime, and it's a fun way to decorate with a candle. So just a little idea for you. I don't have a ton of florals going on the center of the coffee table or here, because I just wanted one floral piece in this space to kind of draw your eye to. And so I found these beautiful faux tulips on Amazon, and I placed them in a sort of vintage style terracotta pot. I think it makes them look even more real, and they are beautiful in this space. You look right at them from the entry, from the kitchen area. I'll show you guys, and they're just a beautiful statement here on this secretary desk. I got this desk a couple years ago on Facebook Marketplace, and I stripped it. It's so beautiful. I ended up just putting a mirror up above it just to reflect some more light, and then I added this little blue accent lamp from Kirkland's not too long ago, and I love how it turned out. I love the way that these windows look out to our cow pasture, not our cow pasture, I'm sorry, it's not ours. It looks out to a cow pasture across the street that does not belong to us, but we get to enjoy the views of it. And I love just letting the outside be the wall decor. I just wanted a ton of windows in here when we designed this space. We have windows up above as well. Some beams in here. This was originally, this little room, this office space you're gonna see in a second, was supposed to be an oversized pantry from the kitchen. And so originally this was gonna be completely walled off. And it was a little blessing in disguise that we ended up opening it up and turning it into an office instead, because now I have this beautiful backdrop of an antique door, and I can hang pretty wreaths on it, and it works beautifully as wall art and really fills the space well. But all that to say, this is my little 7x7 office space. So don't be afraid when you're designing a house plan like I was to just get creative. You don't need huge spaces. You don't need to build a gigantic house to make it functional. And this was one of the ways we did that. We ended up just doing some built-ins against the wall here. So it's very functional. Like I said, I've got storage, I've got my computer, and I'm able to just work from this space. And our family uses this space as well. My kids use the computer when they need to do something, but it's really served us well so far. But for springtime, I just added some hydrangeas to this little thrifted copper pot. I think that's so pretty together. And then I've got kind of I guess you'd call this a floral block pillow. I don't know. Some kind of pretty design here. It's like a blue and brown pillow I got from Target. And then this is what it looks like looking back into our great room space. And then this is the view out my office window. It's just like the other windows looking out to the front porch. Great room side, coming into the kitchen, dining, back porch area. So we'll start with the kitchen here. The only thing I've really done for spring, as far as spring decor goes, is that in this vignette here, I ended up buying more of the tulips that I talked about over there, and I added it to this vignette here, and I think the tulips really pop in this space and look very springy. The other thing I added was this blue candle I found at HomeGoods. I've been trying to burn it sparingly because it's so pretty, but I love having groups of kind of collected items together in a tray on the kitchen island. I think it looks really put together. And then showing from this side, I do have my diffuser going. I've been using it daily at this point. I just love it in the springtime. It's so fresh and light. But up on my hood vent, I ended up adding some blue plates. I had some white plates up there and I swapped them out for some blue ones I found thrifting, and I think they look really pretty. And then speaking of blue plates, when I found the plates for the entry, I had an extra and I ended up swapping out my dish kind of stand for this, and I think it's just a really elevated way to display your dish brush. It looks very, I don't know, put together without a whole lot of effort, and it adds that pretty pop of blue. And then on this back wall here, I have a lot of everyday items that don't change much, but I have another vignette here with this cozy little lamp. I think it's from Hobby Lobby. Got a faux rosemary plant here. I always hide the cutting boards. I hide the outlet and the wires with cutting boards. That's a fun little easy trick. And then I've got just a bunch of wooden utensils. I actually use most of these, so it's a great way to display something that's everyday in a pretty way. I've just got it in a little planter here. I found this kettle years ago at an antique shop, but I love that it has that blue in it. Kind of ties it all together. I've got another one of those topiaries that I got on Amazon. And then my neighbor has been bringing me over eggs. And so I had found this cute little egg carton at HomeGoods. And so I've just been displaying the eggs here, just leaving them out. And they look so springy, Eastery. I don't know, they're just pretty. And so yeah, that's kind of the kitchen decor. I've kept it really simple on the dining table. I wanted something small I can move out of the way. We've been doing a lot of board game nights, and honestly I had nothing on the table for like the last week, but I just kind of stuck that on there, to be honest with you guys. Just some greens. I didn't want them to compete too much with the other arrangements, but you can see, this is what I'm talking about. You can see the tulips from this room too. It looks so pretty. But I recently got a new rug for this space. I got it on Wayfair, and I really love it because it's like your typical natural fiber rug, but it has some interest with that pattern detailing. I think it's really pretty, and so far it's worked really well in this space. I think the rule of thumb with a dining table size rug is you want to be able to pull out your chair and it's still on the rug. I think I probably could have gone one size smaller, but honestly, I kind of like the oversized rug look. I feel like it really works in this space, fills it out, kind of anchors it. I've got a sleepy puppy. But here on the hutch, I didn't change too much. I haven't been ultra inspired to decorate this hutch, if I'm being honest. I really want to find, I'm either going to have it built, which I don't know if that's even, I don't know if that's in the cards, but I want to find a wood hutch, and I want it to be significantly larger than this one. I want it to like fill up this wall, basically, is my goal for someday. But for now, my little hutch here works, and it's still beautiful. I love it. But I did add, you'll see on my mantle there, we'll go closer in a second, and up there, I did some forced blooms, which basically just means I cut branches from my woods out there. We have a bunch of invasive honeysuckle. If you live in Ohio, surrounding areas, you know what I'm talking about. But it works really pretty in the springtime to cut it and then just stick it in some water. I filled that bucket with water and then that vase with water, and it lasts a good long while. And it's just a really pretty way to bring the outdoors in. I thought it added some height to my hutch. It just felt very organic and natural. And then I added this dough bowl here to the bottom just for some warmth. I got this dough bowl antiquing with my friend Andrea from Pine and Prospect Home and Kristen Hoffman. We went on a little girls trip a couple summers ago, and this dough bowl always makes me think of them. So I filled it with some faux artichokes. I just happened to have these. I found them in my storage room, and I got these on Amazon a long time ago, but they're pretty. You can see here, this is what I'm talking about. The morning light comes in through these double windows. It is glorious, and it always shines right down on the hearth's face depending on the time. But on top of the mantle here, I have some forced blooms that I talked about. I just stuck them in this glass vase full of water. I think that looks very whimsical. I love the height that it adds to my mantle. It was free and it'll last a week or two. And then I can always just swap it out for more or for some other greens. I usually like to do this every season. I have my antique breadboards here, and in front of them I changed it up. I ended up adding just a couple little white pictures just to add a pop of white. I think it looks pretty. It might be too much, I don't know. I like it. And then I've got some candlesticks there, but I love this side of the hearth. I love being able to decorate a mantle without a TV on it. Makes me so happy. But you can see I do have a fire going because it's chilly this morning. We're in that weird phase where we haven't had the heat on in a while. And so it does get cold in the morning. So I'll just turn the fire on and then I'll turn it off by like 10 or 11 in the morning and open up the windows, and we have a beautiful spring breeze that comes in. And this is what I envisioned when we built this house. Having this indoor, outdoor living space that's shaded and cool in the summer and cozy in the fall and spring with the fire going. And it's just been such a dream come true. I had so much fun taking you guys with me on this makeover. So go check that video out if you haven't seen it. But if you have seen it, I've changed a couple little things, nothing crazy. For starters, on the potting bench here, I got this potting bench on Wayfair, but when I got here, I painted it just to make it look more vintage. Painted it in the color Sage Green Light by Sherwin-Williams. It's this really beautiful kind of earthy green color. But one thing I did was I added a lamp. So many of you suggested adding a lamp to this space, and you were so right. It adds such a cozy ambiance, especially early in the morning before the sun comes up. But I just have a bunch of little plants, herbs. I hung some sun hats up there just to add some height to the space. Another thing I changed was I ended up putting in some faux hydrangeas into this pot, just so I don't have to move it with our chilly nights. It's kind of big. I don't mind moving the small guys, but the big ones are kind of a hassle, so I did that. That's just temporary though. I'll end up planting some more flowers in there soon. Then you can see we have some ferns hanging, and it's such a fun space. The furniture is from Walmart. Do not sleep on Walmart outdoor furniture this year. It is really, really good. So pretty, but love the blues and greens out here. I know we're gonna spend so many hours out here all spring and summer. And then last but not least, right off of the back porch and kitchen space is Timmy and is our mud bench area. And this area is small, so again, I didn't do a ton, but I just figured I would share. We have this peg railing here, and I just hung a jean jacket, keep my purse, but then I have this sweet little basket from Hobby Lobby with some faux cosmos that are just so dainty and pretty for springtime. And then on the bench here, I just have a couple of pillows, so I figured I would just share that. What? Poor kitty. But I don't really decorate this space at all or change anything. I figured I'd just share. This is our laundry room right off the mud hall. Are you hungry? Yeah? Okay, hang on. Figured I'd just share because I know I get questions about this. We built a shoe rack right outside our mudroom in our garage and hung some coat hooks. And that way we can just drop everything before we even go into the house. So I figured I'd share that. Well, friends, that's it for today's home tour. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it gave you some decorating ideas for your own home. If you liked today's video, do me a favor and give it a big thumbs up. That really helps me out. And subscribe if you're new here. I would love to have you. And I hope you all have a very happy spring. Bye, guys.